Nanashi!
Are these soap bubbles?
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi, back with another Weiss Schwarz deck profile video. This time I'll be showing you my brand new Yellow-Blue Mob Psycho 100 deck. So I should be honest, when I first started watching this show, I was not a fan of it. I fully and unequivocally hated Reigen because all I saw was him exploiting poor Mob's abilities for his own gain. But it took very little time for me to see that it wasn't that simple. He was giving him necessary life lessons that he needed, and throughout the series, I slowly came to appreciate Reigen for what he was doing. And thanks to that little bit of spice added into what would have otherwise been a monotonous psychic showdown anime, I adored this show very quickly. And the grand finale at the end of Season 1 was absolutely phenomenal, so much so that I ended up building this deck in such a way that it captures that amazing moment. And you'll see what I mean when we take a closer look. Starting with the level 0 array, we have a playset of Mob Natural Psychic, and he has a bizarre kind of assistance power. He can't side attack, but if he reverses a character in battle, you can move any character you control into an open backstage zone at rest, even something that was reversed. We have a pair of Reigen searching for a Tsuchinoko. When played, he lets you rest any other Esper, Spirit, or Master character to swap a card each from your waiting room and clock, which connects to an ability called Experience that can be spotted throughout this deck. He also lets you discard a Climax when you play him to add any Esper, Spirit, or Master character from waiting room to hand. We have a playset of Ritsu Kageyama, the first character with the Experience trait. First off though, when played, you can pay a stock and put the top card of your deck into your clock to search any level 1 character from deck to hand. And as far as his Experience ability, if the cards in your level have a total level of 2 or more when he is played, he can also give 2,000 power to any character for a turn, even himself. We have 3 Shigeo Mob Kageyama, the card that binds the yellow and blue halves of the deck together. He gives all characters you control with Reigen in its name the Esper trait. During the Climax step, he can give any character 500 power for the turn, and he's a Brainstormer that returns characters from waiting room to hand. And we have a pair of Takeuchi, a tech I was recommended to use, but rarely ever comes up. You discard a card when he's played, reveal the top card of the deck, and add a character with the same or less level as the revealed card from the waiting room to hand, and put the revealed card back. Moving into the level 1 array, we have 3 Mob Puppy Love. First, the Experience ability says that the level of your cards in level total 2 or more, he gains 1,000 power. And if there's a card called Explosion Counter in the memory, he can move the top card of your deck into your stock anytime he reverses a character in battle. We have 1 Reigen Banishing Salt Punch. His Experience says that the cards in your level have a total level of 2 or more, he gains 4,000 power. Also, you can rest any 2 characters you control to swap a card each from your waiting room and clock. We have a playset of Taruki Challenged Beliefs, and I have to say, his might be the strangest arrangement of abilities I have seen thus far. First, the Experience ability says that the level of your cards in level total 2 or more, he gains 2,000 power. And he has a Climax combo that requires you to control another Esper character. When he attacks, you can discard a card, look at, not reveal, the top 3 cards of your deck, add any one of them to hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. Then, until the end of the opponent's turn, he gains a separate ability of returning himself to the hand when the opponent targets him for an attack. Now, according to the rules, if a front attack is made against him and he returns to the hand, it is still considered a front attack, so you don't take extra damage from the open zone, and you get to keep your card. And we have a playset of Explosion Counter, a counter event that has no relation to battling. It reveals the top 4 cards of your deck, moves any 1 Esper, Master, or Muscles character among them to hand, and puts the rest into the waiting room. Then it puts itself either into the memory or underneath any card called Mob Gratitude toward his Master. Next we have the level 2 array. We have a pair of Mob Gratitude toward his Master, a back row character with a massive number of abilities. He gives all Arataka Reigen 500 power and full immunity from being chosen by effects, and he also gives all level 3 and higher characters in front of him 2,000 more power. He can also move any reversed blue or Esper character that would normally be sent to the waiting room underneath himself as markers, but only if he has 3 or less markers already. And he has a Climax combo if he has 4 or more markers under him, which gives one Arataka Reigen 2500 more power and the ability known as Great Performance until the end of the opponent's turn. What this means is if someone with great performance is in the front and center, then all characters the opponent controls can only attack him, regardless of what column they are in. We have a pair of Tarukia Close Shave, the only actual battler in the level 2 line. His experience ability says if the level of your cards in level total 3 or more, he gains 1000 power. And if he attacks and is facing a level 3 or higher character, he gains 6000 power until the end of the turn. And we have a pair of Yusuke Sakurai, and even though I have one of the red in the deck, I don't actually play this one on stage. It's a counter character that discards himself and pays a stock to boost a battling character by 3000, and has a separate ability that puts any character reversed by the one he boosted into the memory instead of the waiting room. Next we have the level 3 array. We have 3 Arataka Reigen, the complementary card of the level 2 mob. He gains 1500 power for every Esper or Master character in the backstage. He lets you look at the top card on the deck whenever he's attacked and either put it back or put it in the waiting room, and he has a Climax combo that costs 1 stock and 1 discard and uses the same Climax card as Mob Gratitude toward his master. When he attacks, you choose a Mob Gratitude toward his master and deal damage equal to the number of markers under him. We have 2 Petite Reigen, or at least I will once I grab my second copy, hopefully very soon. He's an early player if you have 2 or fewer Climax cards in your waiting room. He heals 1 damage by moving any Esper or Master character in clock to the bottom of the deck, and he has a discounted Encore cost of 1 stock, provided you have no other cards at rest in the front row. And we have a playset of Ritsu Newfound Powers, which basically serves the same purpose as Petite Reigen. He's also an early play if you have 2 or fewer Climax cards in your waiting room. He heals 1 damage by moving the top card from clock to waiting room, and he can deal an extra point of damage when he attacks by paying 2 stock and discarding 1. Finally, we have the Climax cards. We have a playset each of a huge accident and it's okay to run away. Despite the different names, the cards both do the exact same thing. When played from hand, your characters all gain 1000 power and a soul for a turn, and when revealed for an attack trigger check, you can move any character with a soul marker in the upper right in your waiting room either to your hand or into your stock. And that is the deck. I've never used a deck that cared so much about what level the cards in the level were before. I usually just pick some low level I don't need and throw it in and forget about it. But managing that aspect alongside the base functions of this deck is kinda challenging and fun. And the amazing finishing play the Mob and Reigen do at level 3 is terrifying, and either risks ending the game then and there, or makes it twice as hard to fight back against it, which perfectly captures what happens at the end of the first season. That overpowering appearance that this otherwise normal-looking character has that can just ruin everything that you have planned. The only problem that I have with this deck right now is that one of the pieces that I'm missing is like 20-30 bucks, but once I moved into the new place, I'm going to see about getting it as soon as possible. I thank you for watching the deck profile video. If you can think of any ways that I can improve this yellow-blue mob deck, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Anashi, signing out.
If everyone is not special, so you can be what you want to be. Your love will be,